Hey,
I had a thought, and I have completely let it escape my mind, and I did not write it down. Um, oh well. Uh, Hello, Patrick.
Hey, I'm Pat. This is Hernan.
This podcast is going to kick off our film festival for this year, the Tiki Kitty International
Oh,
Film
that's
Festival.
cool.
Do you have a Nirvana t-shirt on?
Yeah, I do. I
nice.
We
carry
were
it.
just talking about that. We were just talking about um, how when MTV stopped playing music, everything changed and the internet took over, and how grunge in the 90s was like the pinnacle of the garage band and the height of that whole type of music. And I was mentioning to Jesse just now that we're seeing a lot of that style music come back, and you fit right into that as far as that
Yeah.
hard-edged garage band music, and that's I think what Mariposa really shows a lot.
I wrote my Mariposa as kind of like a joke, like because I love Nirvana, obviously, and it was kind of an experiment of like, can I write a Nirvana song like in the style of Nirvana, you know? And so it just kind of got Smells Like Teen Spirit, like got the overall structure, the vibe, and I just tried to like make like I actually tried to copy literally Nirvana, and that's how it came out. So it was, yeah, it's very inspired by that movement, you know, like totally.
So what
Was
what
Go ahead,
what does
Jesse.
what does that mean, Patrick, that you wrote it in the same like you mean like beats per minute or like cadence or something? Or like how did you write it?
Yeah, just like kind of like getting understanding the structure of the song, like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Like, okay, it starts with an intro and then there's like a soft verse, the dynamics, you know, with like soft verses and hard choruses. Also the kind of like chant of the chorus, you know, like, hey, like
Yeah.
like a lot of those things are present, you know. So I just like kind of deconstructed those elements and was like, okay, how can I do this obviously with my spin on it, you know, but also inspired by it, you know.
Você suas asas vão derreter.
This is something we do a lot like in film too, you know, like I think this process comes from this place because whenever we make films, and me and then we've been making films for a long time. We met in college, and you know we've been making films since college, and we always start with references, you know. So okay, let's try to do the scene like that Fincher shot or this certain way or with this lighting, you know. So with music, I kind of when I started making music, I got into this headspace too of like, okay, like what are my references? Like, where am I trying to go? You know, and grunge and like garage rock is kind of this place I want to be at. You know, so I've just always been really inspired by it. You know, and I'm not ashamed to like wear my influences on my sleeve, you know, like I openly say it, like I tried to copy Nirvana, like
Right. But like as a creative person, yeah, it's interesting because I do the same thing, like making films. I would be like, that shot, I want to do that shot, right? But like what I learned was that it'll never be like that. You're going to put your own spin on it. That's like the juice that I'm like, okay, because I kind of like I feel like sometimes that I'm like, don't you got to do your own thing, like be a completely original. Stop looking at other people's stuff, right? And then, but it always it kind of fits in that whole creativity, soup, right?
yeah,
That's where the
yeah.
visuals come into play. I mean, it looks to me, Mariposa looks to me like a modern Frankenstein.
Dentes brilhantes, luzes, roupas e batom.
When Patrick first showed me the song, like it was a demo, not finished at all. this image kept coming back to my head, like of this falling angel in a creepy guy's apartment. That was the image that came, and we
Yeah.
went from there trying to make
Yeah,
it.
and then we were like, okay, like we have this world of like this fallen angel and this creepy guy, but like what aesthetic is best fits into that, you know? And you mentioned Frankenstein, and that's really cool because we were really influenced by like 1930s horror films, you know, like we wanted to do a really classic kind of 30s horror, black and white, Hollywood glam look, you know, like that's kind of where we wanted to go. And there were other references that were around us, like Man Ray's photography, like his still photography, you know. We were also inspired kind of by Pi by Darren Aronofsky, who
Yep.
also kind of had these throwbacks of like shooting 16 millimeter film, like black and white, this kind of obsessive character in his little man hut, you know, like we 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 were kind of imbued with a lot of these references, you know.
The texture you created is astounding, and I love the high contrast black and white. It really works for the whole song and for the theme and everything.
Totally. I mean, it doesn't get more dramatic than black and white, right? I mean, once you go black and white, it's like, bring it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole time we were like, you know, let's like, because in a way, Mark, in the beginning of the interview, you mentioned like MTV coming back and stuff, and like this is something that was on our mind too, because nowadays there's a lot of music videos that are like ours also has like a concept and stuff, obviously, but you know, I feel like we wanted to do a legit like MTV, a classic rock MTV music video, you know?
Our goal has always been a modern MTV. We're bringing back the music video is one of our slogans, and that's exactly what I thought of when I saw your video here, is that this is the new MTV. That, you know, people want to see these videos.
Subo tudo pra me prover. Meus sorrisos queimam na sua luz, novo lar.
But yeah, like me and Hernan, like we've known each other since college. Like we studied film, we work with film. Hernan is also a cinematographer as well as director. And we just have this like affinity between each other, you know, like in terms of images, in terms of like what kinds of images we like, you know.
It's very hard to direct alone because you it's a very solitary job. So every time you have to make thousands of decisions, and okay, it's cool that you have the final say, but it's also overwhelming. And I thought the process of doing it with Patrick was very, very nice because everything we talked, like, I think this would be cool or that would be cool, and he was like, yeah or no, and this process made everything lighter and easier to work with. And I believe like the relationship between DP and director, I mean, was non-existent. We were both doing everything all the time.
Yeah.
So one time I was at the monitor exposing, and he was talking to the actors, and then 10 minutes later was the opposite. So we both have this very trusting relationship that we don't need to be looking, oh, are you doing your job right? Or we don't have that. So that's very liberating.
Yeah. And we both, like, even as a director, like I've always even when I worked with DPs, like I've always been really intimate with the camera. Like I like to work with the camera, you know, I like to be close, like I like to light, I like to operate the camera, focus. Like
you've been a DP in 2 features.
Yeah, and I've done like DP jobs as well. So when I called Hernan, like our initial proposal was like, oh, are you gonna direct and I'll do DP or what? But then we came to the conclusion, like, let's just share both credits. Like, so in the end, we shared both credits. We're both directors and we're both DPs. And during the shoot, we kind of, like Ernest said, we were just interchanging jobs. And it was really natural. We were never like, oh, let me get the camera. It was like, sometimes I would leave the camera, go talk to the actors, and then they would go to the camera. And then I would go to the camera and he would talk to the actors. It was pretty fun. Like
what you're describing right now is like a dream. That's a dream. Okay. What the flip? It's hard to find that. All right. It's really difficult. I've been
That's
living my
true. That's
entire
Yeah.
true.
life as a
Thank
director. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I'm so happy.
you.
Yeah. Someone that
Yeah.
you can trust and just work like symbiotically with. Good job, guys. Way to
Yeah.
go. Yeah, nice job.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. It is very hard
Yeah,
because there, especially in low budget productions or when you don't have a lot of experience, there's a lot of ego involved and
Yeah.
right.
people want to show themselves. And
Yep.
we didn't have that at all. I think because I think we're both on the same journey, trying to accomplish the same thing. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, the vision was the same. I think that what made the thing works.
Yeah.
We're both looking at it from the same angle.
That's what's cool, like about working with someone else, because like when you're by yourself, you are limited by your own ideas. So when he told me his idea, I thought it was better. I was just like, that's a
Right.
better idea.
But that's like
Like,
putting
let's
away
go
your
with that.
ego. That's like your ego's kind of putting to the side and you're able to listen to somebody else's idea. That's a big
Yeah.
deal. I mean, yeah, it's hard, because
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to make something
Yeah.
that's mine. Like I want to control it. I want all the
Yeah.
control. I don't want to like, this is my fucking thing, and like it's so it's
Yeah.
hard to bring other people in
Yeah.
sometimes.
But that was what was so cool like about working with him. Then like since we're such good friends, like I just wanted the best idea, and also like I'm we directed and did the cinematography, but I'm also like the artist. So like I'm kind of wearing like two hats on set, and like as the artist, I don't care if Patrick's idea or Ernest's idea like is chosen. Like all I care about is like the best idea for the music video. So like whenever I talked to Ernest, like and we were debating like two different ideas, I wasn't Patrick anymore. I was more like Bacará, like in the sense that I was like, okay, like honestly, what is the best idea? Like it might not be your idea, Patrick. Like it might be Ernest, like accept that. Like that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what, and not only with Ernest, but like the whole crew, like Bruno, our art director, our actors, Gabi and João, and Gabi, our makeup artist, who did a phenomenal job as well,
Oh
because
yeah, beautiful.
it was really like in that needed to work. Like if the makeup didn't work, it would just look bad. So she was super talented, and she's also really into doing like prosthetics and stuff and like monster movies. Like she's really into that. So it was a perfect match.
How did you find her? Do you don't know her through the system
No,
or
it's so funny. She actually studied at my school. She was a year younger than me. And that's always something I think about, because sometimes there's gold like right under your nose and you don't realize it.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's like a lot of talented people around you that you like studied with, or that you like grew up like on the street with, and sometimes you might not consider them because you're like, oh no, but I studied with that person in school, like it might not work. But when I stopped to think about it, I was like, wow, she's like legitimately really talented. There's no better opportunity to do this. And since like it was my band and stuff, like everyone just it was really like a family. Like everyone on set was our friends, like either from school or from college, or just friends like from the industry, stuff like that. But it was such like a, even though the video is like aggressive and dark and stuff, like we were laughing, we were super happy behind cameras.
Yeah, it seems like, yeah, it definitely was made with love. It looks like. I love that. You're like so wise. Sometimes there's gold underneath your nose. You're exactly right, Patrick. That's good.
Você, suas asas vão derreter. Hey, você não vai sofrer.
When you put yourself in front of the camera or in front of a crowd, you're essentially exposing yourself to people you know and love, and also people who don't know you, who might criticize you, or might think your voice is bad, or might think you don't play well.
Yeah.
But I've just like been taking this as kind of like a Zen exercise of like I don't I don't want to care what people think anymore, you know? Like I honestly just want to express myself, and if you don't like it, like that's okay. Like
Yeah, that's
what
It
can I do
hurts.
about it?
It
You know?
hurts,
Yeah, like
but that's okay.
but it doesn't even hurt. Like I'm trying to not be hurt by that, you know?
yeah, and that you don't know everything. Like I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's always, I think those are the most fascinating people that are always searching out kind of like a better way to do
Yeah.
something. Able to,
No, and it's also like it's gonna be my first show. Like it's not gonna be the best show. Like it's just not. Like you have to accept that, you know. And
right,
I think everything we do, like as artists, be it behind camera, like when we're directing or like making music, like even in the music video, like there were things that at the time frustrated us a little bit. Like, oh, this didn't turn out how we wanted, or like or maybe when in the editing we were like, oh, we should have gotten that shot. Like, why didn't we do this, you know? But I think it's just like I think if you get caught up in that, you just become paralyzed and you stop creating, you know. I think we just have to accept that we will make mistakes. Like there will always be mistakes and it's fine. Like and actually sometimes those mistakes turn out to be really good, you know. And if they're not good, then at least they teach you how to make it better next time, you know.
You are wise.
yeah. Look,
What I noticed playing live, and I haven't even played live, but what I noticed practicing live is that there is room for what in cinema we call uh magical accidents, you know, which is what Orson Welles used to say that like sometimes you know you move the camera and the light hits and there's like a magical accident happens that makes it amazing, you know. And I noticed that when I started practicing live, like there were a lot of little things that I would never have done in the box, just never. But when you're in the band, when you have four different elements there, four different people with different experiences and you know, and they're just doing their own thing in synergy with your thing, things happen. And I was like, wow, this is like that was the like I already had a rock band, but that was like the first time I realized what an actual rock band is about, which is like playing together, you know. So
let me ask you about music videos one more time here. Like, so you're releasing an album. You have like how many tracks on the album?
So there's this album is called Insects and Critters, and it has this kind of concept of being about insects and animals and like this relationship between being an animal and a human and like how actually we are animals. We just like wear little clothes and stuff, so we think we're not, but we actually are. Um, so
I
it
love
kind of
this guy.
has this
Yeah,
what?
you're amazing. Hey, you're both amazing. Okay, nice job. I agree with you
Thank you.
about that. Anywho, way to go. This is fun. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
No,
Sorry.
yeah, we're I'm having it's fun talking with you guys. Thank you. I also loved how like we didn't even say hi. We just started talking.
Yeah,
We
what
just
the
started
hell?
Well, you
there were
know,
no introductions. It was just like, okay, let's go straight into it.
Yeah.
But the album has around 8 tracks, and we're looking to do another one. The next song that I'm gonna release as a single is called Vida Mar, and we're thinking of doing a music video too.
Right.
And
well, I
Vida
sure
Mar
hope so.
Right.
and also like this is something which I think is cool mentioning. Like I see Bacará, like of course it's a band, but like for us who work with film, like it's also an opportunity to make cool stuff, you know, like video wise, image
Yeah.
wise. So like I see Bacará as kind of like an excuse to make cool music videos, you know, like the music, of course the music is important. Like I love doing the music, but for me it's honestly like it's 50-50, you know. It's not just the music, it's the music and the images, you know. So I want to take this as an opportunity to you know release singles and always just release something visual, you know, because like Mariposa was like a pretty complex production. Like we had a big crew, uh like camera, like equipment. We rented out a studio, but we're also like looking forward to doing like maybe smaller stuff, maybe just me and Hernan like with a camera playing around, you know. So
Yeah. Hey, hey,
we're excited to do new things.
yeah, I got something. I want to throw my name in the hat here. I make music videos as well. And
Cool.
what would you be into as far as like talking about making a music video for one of your songs?
that would be sick. Let's
Some
collaborate for
collaborating or
sure.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that a
Yeah,
possible thing
yeah,
in your brain that we could work on? I mean, I can send you a bunch of shit I've made,
yeah,
and you'd be like,
yeah. Send me,
oh,
send me.
yeah, you'd be like, no, you're not gonna make a music video for my shit. And then I'll be like, okay, that's fine. That's valid.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so cool about like you guys us having this relationship too with Cordy is like because you guys are championing like independent stuff, like
Exactly.
even if you see Mariposa now, like in the end it shouldn't be about the numbers, but you do like get a bit frustrated, like, oh, we've done something that we actually believe in, and like sometimes someone posts like a shitty video and it gets 100,000 views, and then your
Oh
video that
God.
you poured so much into has 500 views. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like okay, like, but
500. I'd love to get 500.
But you mean,
But I
but
know what you
again, like,
mean.
yeah,
I mean, you have to detach yourself from the outcome, right? You got to be like, okay, I'm not
yeah,
making it for that. I'm making it for myself. And then I think that's also the
exactly.
sweet spot that you were talking about of like, you're doing what you want to do. That shit is, I don't know, it's hard to disconnect from that, but I feel like it's irrelevant.
Yeah, like in the end it should, but like also I recognize that like as artists, like when you're doing things, even though like I want to not care, like I do care, Like I want it to be seen, like I want it to be heard because you just put a lot of energy into it. So it's kind of like a therapy session, but
This
Right,
was
totally.
something that we actually had a little of a disagreement on the whole process,
yeah, maybe.
on the editing.
Yeah,
You were like, oh, maybe people are not getting that it's an angel.
yeah,
And maybe we should change the editing so that people understand that it's an angel and the story
yeah.
is a little bit more comprehensible.
I
Digestible,
was trying to
right?
make it like more commercial, like let's make it more obvious.
And I was feeling sorry, can I curse here?
Yeah,
Yes.
fuck it.
No
Fuck it,
problem.
fuck it. Because if people don't get it, it's their problem. We're gonna do
Exactly.
what we want to do. And if
Yeah.
it's cool, it's gonna connect with people. If it's not, then we try again later. And it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the history of rock music right there.
That's a history of creativity. I mean, like, what does it mean to be independent? That's a fucking question. And then
Yeah.
that's a slippery
No,
slope. Like, if you're gonna
yeah.
start making stuff for like to get the views, I don't know. I don't know about that.
No, yeah, I do feel like if you're motivated by that, like it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're coming from the wrong place, I guess. But Sonic Youth, because like Sonic Youth as a band, like they were one of the first like noise bands,
Yeah.
and like when I started researching Sonic Youth, that was the moment where I felt totally comfortable in being like, because when I started making music, I was like, oh, I don't know if like my friends are gonna like this. Like, I don't know if someone's gonna listen to it, but I liked it. And like
Yeah.
I realized that in the end, we should just make the noise we like. I'm just gonna try to make noises and images that we believe are beautiful. And if someone gets on that train, great. And if someone doesn't, like it's fine. But like if you don't put yourself out there to do something different, then things are just always gonna sound the same.
Exactly. That's to me like people who innovate or like push the envelope at the beginning of every single one of those journeys, people are like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid because
Yeah,
it's something new and fresh. So like
yeah,
in order to really be in my view, like transcend some things, you're going to have to be out on a limb of creativity.
yeah,
It hasn't been done before, right? And then that's going
yeah.
to be a very lonely place.
Yeah, and you're gonna be like exposed to criticism. You're gonna
Totally.
be exposed to doubt, self-doubt. Like I've had a lot of self-doubt too. Like, wow, like well, why am I doing this? Like, should I be doing this? Or like, is this lyric like is this embarrassing? Like, am I exposing myself too much? Or like my voice. And with the video too, like everything. But in the end, I think it's just I think creating things is just so it's just a special place to be. And I think like for people who like if you are willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable, like I respect that.
Hell
And I think it's hard to do that. And like being like in this place now, before like I used to criticize a lot more easily, but now whenever I see someone like putting themselves out there, I just respect them first because I'm like, this is it that is hard to do. Like that is hard to do. Go out, make a song, put it out, tell people to pre-save it. Like that is it's embarrassing, and it's like because I've been there, but
Yeah.
like the only way, you know, like you have
I
to
know,
do
but
it. So
it's like so many different muscles in your brain and things you have to do. You gotta create something, then you gotta market the shit out of it, then you gotta fucking
yeah.
try to get an
And
investor to do an ROI shit. And I'm like, fuck ROIs, man. I don't know how to get a return on
Yeah.
investment. Like, just give me the money to make the
Oh,
film.
oh yeah, no, the return on investment is like, no, it's
Horseshit.
not even like on the horizon. It's
yeah.
like,
Fuck
Hey,
that shit.
Patrick, in working with AI the way I have and watching all the AI videos, one of the most common things I see is people criticizing, how could you just do this? It just copies everybody else's thing and what's existing. And I refer people to our interview with Cordes from last
mhm.
year and how you told me that if you were to just take the time you spent on that video and break it down, you would have spent 8 hours a day, 7 days a week with all the prompt engineering and things you did. People
Yeah.
don't understand how much work goes into this. And that's exactly what you're talking about right now. Just what you do every day. No one understands the work you put into it.
Here's the deal. They never will.
You make it
Yeah,
look easy
exactly.
when you get up there and do
And
it.
also, and like that's what I've been realizing. Like they never will. And like honestly, like being the devil's advocate, like I don't even think they should, you know, because like I don't think the work you put in, like honestly, in the end, the work, like what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter how much work you can put into something, like it doesn't guarantee its success, you know. And like you have to come to terms and be at peace with that, because if you don't, then you will just always be frustrated like with the outcome of things. So like honestly,
Well,
like
your
there's
goals are
songs,
your goals are twisted. If all you want is popularity, then
yeah, and
that's
like
what you're doing.
there are songs that have probably been written in 10 minutes that have like billions of streams. Like I don't know, like I think Black Hole Sun, for example, by Soundgarden was written on a plane in 15 minutes. Like, and there are songs that you can labor on for months and it will never reach anywhere. So like it really for me it's like even though there is a lot of like effort put into it, like in the end I think the result, not the result, the numbers, but the result of the art is what matters, you know, because you can do something in 10 minutes or in an hour. If I cry watching it, like it moved me, you know. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter if you worked on it for 10 years or 10 minutes. Like if it moved me, it moved me, you know.
and understand that like whatever moves you doesn't move the person sitting right next to you. Like it's so different. Like it's such an
Yeah.
objective like world we
and
live
and that's why I think catering to an audience doesn't work, because like if I say, okay, I'm gonna make this song for Hernan, like what I think he likes,
in. Totally.
and I do it and he doesn't like it, then like what are you gonna do? Like
Yeah.
you should just do what you like. Like that's kind of where I've been trying to go, of just being like, I want to do what I think is cool. Like if someone else thinks it's cool, great, but
Yeah,
I don't control
yeah,
that.
I think you're like whenever I made anything in that vein, I was bulletproof. I didn't give a fuck. Like I sent it out there to the world. I'm like, I know this is the dopest thing ever. I could care less if nobody likes it. Then I'm like,
Yeah,
that feels good. Those are rare times. That doesn't happen often with me. I'm usually like, I hope people like it and all this shit. But
yeah,
yeah.
But that's something that it's good to have two people doing it because
yeah,
we're together in this, like in the video, in the
yeah,
music video. Because sometimes there were times I was insecure about something, and probably I would have done to appease someone.
yeah, yeah.
And but
What you
we
guys
were
have
both.
there, what you guys have is a formula for success. I mean,
Oh,
you
Mhm.
work together, and
thank you.
nothing is few things are done by ourselves. We have a team of people around us, no matter what that is, and that's what helps us get through all this.
Do you guys have day jobs? And what are they?
I work as a camera assistant on advertisement.
Okay, there we go. So you're working in the vein. Got it.
Yeah, I like my day job. I had like a day job at a production company last year. Like I had been in a production company for 7 years, but since last year I've been a freelance like director, DP. So I've done cinematography for a film last year. I did the Senna job, like working with VFX, you know. So I'm always kind of like jumping around, but it's always involved with filmmaking and more with the directing and cinematography side of things, you know. For me, the music and film thing really do go hand in hand because they are both artistic, you know. But I make money with images, and with sound I spend money. So basically everything I make I spend on music.
Man, that's cool. That was a cool soundbite. I like that. That was neat. Yeah. I I also do like, I'm an independent artist and I do like freelance. I'm a contract. I do like, direct like promos, commercials, that type of shit.
Oh,
Now, okay,
cool.
this is always kind of a weird thing. I like talking about this. Now, I've done this for like the last like 10 years now. So I'm getting a little burned out on like working for somebody else and I just want to do my own
Yeah,
shit. Do
yeah.
you find that like when you live in this creative realm and then you do it for a living, does it drain from your creativity?
Yeah, I was you described exactly what I was feeling when we decided to do this because I want to be a director, you know, and I'm young still, and I have to start somewhere, and you get the jobs that appear to you at the moment, uh, but I was working as a camera assistant for 2 years, and then I wasn't gonna keep doing that forever, you know. I knew I need to do something to express myself and to put a little of my vision on the world. And when Patrick came with the idea to do a collaborative video together, I was thrilled. Like I was all in. We were both investing on the music video together, and
Yeah.
I was ready because it's exactly what you said. I felt drained. I felt like a part of my soul was gone because you use all of your craft, all of your knowledge into something that you
To sell
feel
diapers.
to sell diapers, exactly, and to something that doesn't really matter, you know. And when you do something for a band of a friend that really wants to make the song he wants to make the way he wants to make it, like that what drives us, that what makes made me want to do films in the first
Yeah.
place. So I felt very drained before, and I
Yeah.
feel
So
very good now.
basically what financed the music video was our selling our souls for Mayo commercials.
Totally.
Basically, yeah.
I know, but I go back to this thought of like, I wish I had a 9 to 5 bullshit zone out job that I could just get a paycheck and then just my entire rest of my life would be creativity. Not like a mixture of that, because I feel like I'm definitely getting torn with all these different kind of avenues. And I wish I could just mainly focus on my shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
because like
weird.
if you have like let's say a normal like day job, it's just a job. But even for us, like let's say an assistant camera job, or like if I'm doing like a commercial or something, like it's never just a job, you know, like it's not
Totally.
something you can tap in and tap out like 9 to 5. Like it always involves your whole life and your energy and like mental bandwidth, you know, like
Yes.
And there's always something you can learn because as an assistant, you're there on the set. You don't have a lot of responsibilities like the producer or the director. So you have time to watch and to see people older than you and more experienced than you working.
mhm.
And you learn to do, oh, the gaffer did something that I thought it was interesting. And then you apply that to your own thing later. So it's
Right.
always something, there's always something to learn
Mhm.
on this high budget commercial shoots because they have a lot to offer on technical terms because they have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of soul. So you have to balance that on. So you
Right.
have to balance that on your own projects. And try to learn as much as you can. That's what I would say about that.
Wow, that was beautiful, Hernan.
You guys are great. This is amazing, dude. We should all get tattoos or something.
Thanks so much for your guys' work too, like for
Thank you.
you know championing like independent artists and music videos. We were super happy to talk with you guys.
Okay,
All right,
great.
thanks so much,
Take
guys.
care, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Everybody left? What the